Today we are going to be canning seedless blackberry jelly. Here are some beautiful big buckets of fresh local blackberries. We used some of those for syrup, and today we are using some to make jelly. The first step is to clean the berries. I like to soak mine in a mixture of cold water with a little bit of white vinegar and just a couple drops of dish soap mixed in, and then I rinse them out in fresh water. And here they are, clean and strained and ready to cook with. I borrowed this juicer from a friend, which makes the process so much easier than having to cook the berries and then strain them by hand. This juicer is wonderful. You'll start by filling that intake well with berries. And I do like to use a glove for this because blackberries will stain your skin, they'll stain your counter. So that helps a lot. So we'll get that filled in. And then you take that lid and you put that in, and then you power the juicer on. And I did adjust the volume down so you wouldn't hurt your ears because this juicer is very loud. But look at that, look at all that fresh juice that just comes right out. I have a little glass jar waiting to collect it, and then the pulp is expelled out on the other side in a collection container. And yes, this juicing process is very messy. And of course, if anybody lends you equipment, make sure to return it in excellent condition. It should be as clean or cleaner than you received it. So I'm very grateful to have been able to borrow this piece of equipment. And I collected all of that juice pulp, which some chickens will be very happy to eat. And then this is the juice that we're going to be using to make jelly. And you can see on the bottom it's actually starting to separate a little bit. Some of the pulp does float to the top over time. So here on canning day, we're going to be using approximately 7 cups of blackberry juice to start with, and then white granulated sugar and lemon juice concentrate. Let's get started. Now you do want to strain the juice a second time because for jelly, you want the juice very clear. So this part is very labor intensive. I actually ended up breaking my jam bag. The seams just ripped, and so I finished up with my cheesecloth. So for this recipe, you need 4 cups of juice, which is what we ended up with after straining the 7 cups of juice initially. There's a lot of pulp in there. So you'll put that 4 cups of juice in the pot and then add 2 tablespoons of lemon juice concentrate and 6 cups of white sugar. And this is one of my favorite parts where you mix everything in because it's just so pretty watching the red and the white mix together. You'll bring the mixture to a boil over high heat and then stir it to combine. And this process really is very soothing, both in person and then to watch back later on the video. The juice is just beautiful. It's just really nice seeing those colors all mix in together. And you do want to stir frequently because the juice will easily just boil right out of the pan. So keep a close eye on it. Stir it every few minutes to stir those bubbles down so you don't end up with a scorched mess on your stove. And just keep stirring, keep a close eye on it. It might take an hour, it just depends on the size and shape of your pot. And you can see here the mixture is still quite watery, although it has reduced already a bit. Here is one method to check for the gelling point. You take a very small spoonful of jelly, you really just need a couple drops, just a little bit, and put it on an ice cold plate that's been chilling in the freezer. Let it sit for about 30 seconds and then run your finger straight through. If the mix stays separated, you're ready to can. We're going to remove the jelly from the heat for 5 minutes and then very carefully skim off the foam. This part is fine to eat. Some people actually like it in their jelly, but it just doesn't look as pretty. It doesn't look as uniform. Now it's time to can. We'll use those tongs to carefully remove a hot half-pint jar in that water bath that I have prepared ahead of time. And then we'll place on the wide mouth funnel on that half-pint jar. And then carefully ladle out that jelly until you have reached 1/4 inch headspace. And in case you don't know yet, what headspace mean is the distance between that very top rim of the jar and the surface of the liquid. And for jelly, you want 1/4 inch of space. Here's that measuring tool with a 1/4 inch mark right there near the end. And I do like to put in what I estimate to be a little bit under what I need, and then I can just carefully add. It's much easier than having to spoon mixture out. So just a little bit more should do it. There we go. We'll now wipe off the rim of the jar with a damp cloth. Just a little bit of water. We don't need vinegar for jelly because there's no oil in here. And then we'll place on a clean new lid and a clean ring and tighten until finger tight. And then use those tongs to carefully place that jar back into the water bath. And then you'll repeat until all the jelly has been used up. And you want to ensure 1 to 2 inches of headspace of water above the jars. You'll then bring the water bath to a boil on high heat, and once the water has reached a boil, you'll set the timer for 10 minutes. And after 10 minutes, you can remove those jars. And I actually got lucky and I caught a couple pops on camera, so I'm going to stop talking now so that you can hear those sounds. And then once all your jars are out, you'll let them sit undisturbed for 12 to 24 hours. Then after 12 to 24 hours, you'll test the seal, wash the jars, and then label them with the contents and the date. And you can see here in that gap that this jelly actually set really nicely. And the lids are well sealed. Thank you for watching.